by Zarina Nicole Ong. The prosecution is opposing the motion for leave to file demurrer to evidence filed by former Senator Ramon Bong Revilla and his co-accused, Janet Lim Napoles, in their plunder case before the Sandiganbayan First Division. Manila Bulletin. Filing a demurrer to evidence is an act contesting that the evidence offered in the case is insufficient. If the court grants it, then the case would be dropped. In their 14-page consolidated opposition, the prosecution said their motions are bereft of merit because they were able to present sufficient evidence establishing the elements of the crime of plunder, as well as the participation of each of the accused. In his motion, Revilla said the prosecution failed to prove that he amassed ill-gotten wealth through a series or combination of overt criminal acts. The prosecution argued otherwise, saying this was established when they stated the 12 instances from the years 2007 to 2009 when Revilla requested the allocation and release of his Priority Development Assistance Fund, PDAF. For the implementation of the projects, Revilla endorsed the non-government organizations, NGOs, controlled by Napoles as project partners. The opposition reads. It is important to point out that in its resolution promulgated on December 1, 2014, this court already ruled that the prosecution has duly established that there exists strong evidence that accused Revilla, Richard Cam, and Napoles, in conspiracy with one another, committed the capital offense of plunder. It adds. Revilla also implied that the misappropriation of his PDAF all went to Napoles, but the prosecution believes otherwise. Even though Napoles was indeed the facilitator of the PDAF scheme and received a large share of the PDAF proceeds, it does not imply that she alone must bear liability for this illegal activity. The prosecution stressed that Revilla and Cam also received their fair share of the loot, so all of them must be equally held liable for plunder. Given the sufficiency of the testimonial and documentary evidence against all the accused, it would, therefore, be premature at this stage of the proceedings to conclude that the prosecution's evidence failed to establish their participation in the alleged conspiracy to commit the crime, the opposition concludes. Revilla is facing 1 plunder charge and 16 counts of graft because of the misuse of his PDAF, which he reportedly endorsed to the bogus NGOs owned by Napoles in exchange for kickbacks. He is currently detained at the Philippine National Police Custodial Center in Camp Crame, Quezon City. Tags, documentary evidence, Janet Lim Napoles, Manila Bulletin, plunder case, prosecution opposes Revilla's attempt to dismiss evidence, Ramon Bong Revilla, Richard Cam, the prosecution.